Michigan, Ohio State, though, on the marquee. That game is tomorrow. And look, I mentioned this on Wednesday's shows. We started to get into it in depth. I'm not particularly chesty about this one. I think this is two very good football teams. I don't know how they stack up against the rest of the country. I do think what happens when you watch your own team week in and week out, you become more acutely aware of their potential flaws, what their Achilles heel might be, and you start to get concerned about those things more and more as a fan base. And, I think Michigan fans are maybe a bit edgy about things like the run game. I'm not that worried about the defense. I know that Maryland kind of at times had their way with him, but Maryland's offense can be dangerous. Okay. Maryland's offense gave Ohio State problems this year. Maryland's offense gave Ohio State problems last year. So it's, you want to go out and you want to dominate every game and you feel good dominating every game, but it's probably not reality. One of the big storylines and something that we're going to be keeping, and we'll be on the air at 9 a.m. with the tailgate show, 11 a.m. for the pregame. But one of the big storylines and something we'll keep our eye on is how does J.J. McCarthy look in warmups? He got pretty gimpy in that Penn State game. He says he's fine. But he is, last week against Maryland, he ran the ball once. And I don't know. I think one of the things to keep in mind is it's not that JJ needs to be part of the run game with 15, 20 carries. The threat of JJ running the ball, though, is one that can open things up for the running backs. If there's a threat that the quarterback keeps the ball in the zone read, that's one thing. But maybe more importantly is his mobility in the pass game to create more time. I think JJ is exceptionally good throwing on the run. And if there are legitimate concerns, and there are some concerns, we'll see, how they do tomorrow, obviously, but there are concerns about the offensive line's ability to protect the passer. Last couple of weeks has been a bit of an issue. Now, I don't like Chop Robinson may be the best edge rusher in the Big Ten, Penn State. And as that game went on, it looked like Michigan's adjustment to that was, well, he can't sack the quarterback if we don't throw the ball. But anyway, if Michigan can protect JJ, they'll be in great shape. If they can't protect JJ and JJ is closer to or at 100%, they can overcome that. If they can't protect JJ and JJ is truly slowed by this injury, this undisclosed injury, which appears to be a lower body injury that might impact his mobility, that could be a formula that's tough to overcome. And Ohio State has some legitimate athletes up front. One that can dominate a game in JT Tuimoloau. But at the end of the day, that's one that looms very, very large. That matchup, when Michigan is goes to the throw game, can they protect JJ? And if they can't, how mobile is he? And then there's ability to adjust on the fly. Like Sharon Moore, I think, has done a very good job as the acting head coach. And they collectively as a staff, they make all the decisions that they think they're going to make pregame. It's a whole collaborative effort. But, Sharon has to process in real time, interpret the information that they're getting back and make split-second decisions, which he hasn't done it. He's been the head coach for 3 games here. One in the beginning of the year and then the 2 most recent games. How much of an impact does that have? Because that's Jim Harbaugh's job. That's Jim Harbaugh's role. And you can have all these decisions laid out ahead of time, but that doesn't mean there aren't split-second decisions that you have to make. So that's kind of an unknown in a big game, how it plays itself out. There'll be no shortage of preparation. There'll be no shortage of preparation. Another fascinating matchup is when Ohio State goes to the throw game. I think you're talking about a great group of wide receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the marquee, but between Emeka Ibuka and Cade Stover, there are a couple of very good receiving options there for Kyle McCord. And I really, really like Michigan's secondary, led by Will Johnson. He's on the marquee, but Josh Wallace and Mikey Samristil have had very good years. And then sort of one of the unknowns, it's that I'm sure there's a curiosity factor from a Buckeye standpoint as well, is how does Kyle McCord react in this game, in this environment? He's clearly very talented, and he's gotten better as the season has gone on. The big notch in his belt was going into South Bend and winning, and that's a big test. He made some big time throws in that game. Might have got away with one as well, but hey, that's part of it. JJ's gotten away with some too. But how does he react to this environment, to this game? Is it's big, and the approach to the game is something I've heard the players talk about this week, which is you can't peak too early. Like, you have to build to that crescendo. It takes some patience and some discipline. They talked about practices being competitive, but not combative. So that, you got to, and given the way that's gone the last couple of years, whatever they have done preparing for the game to get ready, the players through the week seem to have peaked on those Saturdays. So maybe, just maybe they've got that down, but we shall see.